What's going on, y'all? It's the Caveman back at it again with another video. And, with the playoffs right around the corner, I decided why not make my own tier list of the teams that are in the playoffs this year. I'm going to kind of put my own twist to it. It's not drastically different, but I did name the tiers a little different than just like Super Bowl contenders or good teams, bad teams. I kind of put my own twist to it. I have the Super Bowl contenders, the teams that have a shot, the teams that can upset some other teams, the teams that are just lucky to even be here, and the teams that are just straight trash. With that being said, the first Super Bowl contender, if you couldn't tell, I am a humongous Bills fan, and that's not very, hard to tell at all. And if you have not realized either, the Bills are playing on another level right now. They are playing out of this world. There's absolutely no reason why the Bills don't deserve to be Super Bowl contenders right now. They are literally putting up points that I have not seen from a Bills team or from any team other than the Chiefs in a long time. To be playing at the level they're playing at is extremely impressive. I'm not going to sit here and bore you with the stats. I'm not going to, push up my glasses, go all nerd on you and list all the freaking statistics. I'm not going to do all that. It's a load of BS. It's a waste of time. The Bills are Super Bowl contenders, and if you have a second grade education, you obviously will agree with me. Chiefs, Super Bowl contenders, I don't think that's very hard to comprehend, and I'm not going to sit here and bore you with the why. They are Super Bowl contenders, and there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. The next and final team that goes up in the Super Bowl contender slot, I don't think will come to a surprise to many people, is the Green Bay Packers. I really don't think an NFC team is going to win the Super Bowl this year. I might be surprised. I don't know, but I really don't think that the Chiefs or the Bills are on the level of any other team right now. That's just how out of this world I believe both teams are at this point. It's just crazy, like the level they're playing at. I don't think even the Packers come to that level. I really don't. Oh, but Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. I don't care. I don't care. The offense of the freaking Bills and the Chiefs, I still think they're on another level. So now that we got what I think is the obvious category out of the way, this is where things might get a little controversial as far as, who belongs in what tier. The next team that I have in the next tier, which is they have a shot, is the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I do think they still have a shot, although they have not been playing at the level that they were playing at originally at the beginning of the season. Russell Wilson is still Russell Wilson. DK Metcalf is a freak of nature. Tyler Lockett is still a very good wide receiver. They have a chance, and if their defense can continue to play at the high level they're going to need to play at, I do think they still have a chance, regardless of how bad they've played as of late. You can never count out Russell Wilson. I think you know that. I think everybody knows that. He's one of those quarterbacks where he's never out until the time runs out. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Seattle Seahawks definitely, I think, deserve to be in. They have a shot category. I guess they could be considered upsetters, but I still don't think they've gotten to the point where they're considered underdogs all too often. I think they have a shot category is pretty fitting for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the next team I think will shock some people to be finding themselves in they have a shot category. I do think they do have a shot. And, call me whatever you want. Call me a dick rider or whatever. Call me whatever you want. I hate Tom Brady just as much as the next guy. But you can't deny Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's a different breed in the playoffs. He just is. The new team, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter his new scenario. Nothing else matters. Tom Brady is just different in the playoffs. And for that matter, they belong and they have a shot category. The final team I'm going to put in this they have a shot category is the New Orleans Saints. They're getting Michael Thomas back healthy. I'm not sure if Cameron Jordan's coming back. I know he's had some injury trouble. They've also had a couple other injuries on the defensive side of the ball that have been bringing them down. But Michael Thomas is the most notable one. I think they also had another wide receiver injured. I think it was Traquan Smith, if I'm not mistaken. 99.9% sure that they are going to be relatively healthy going down the stretch in the playoffs. And that makes for a dangerous Saints team. The only reason that they're not Super Bowl contenders right now is because of Drew Brees' ribs. The dude has like 14 broken ribs, and it's very obviously affecting his play. The dude is horrified to get hit. Like, absolutely horrified to get hit. And I don't blame him at all. I would be horrified to get hit even if I had 14, intact ribs. But this dude has a flak jacket on with 14 broken ribs. I don't blame him for being horrified of a 250-pound behemoth running at me and drilling me in the chest. I really would not be too fond of that either. But they do have Alvin Kamara, and the answer to the Saints' problems is Alvin Kamara. So all they got to do is give him the ball. I feel like he just doesn't get the ball enough on the ground. I'm not sure why they work Latavius Murray in like he's some magical being. But Alvin Kamara is a magical being, and he needs to be the one getting the bulk of the carries because he will get 6 touchdowns in a game if you give him the ball enough. So there are 4 teams in this next category, the teams that could do some upsetting. Now, the first team I'm going to talk about, I've been talking about them like crazy on this channel. I love this team a lot. I love the people I love the fan base as well. You Colts fans, I love you guys. You guys are fantastic. There's not much I can say in words that can explain how great you guys are. But if it weren't for Phillip Rivers, you guys would definitely be in. They got a shot category. Been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's kind of holding you guys back at this point. Unless he can really change something, he's kind of holding you guys back. But Jonathan Taylor is a freak of nature. We have been seeing that. He's been playing at Derrick Henry level. He's been putting up Derrick Henry level numbers. This guy is a freak of nature. Philip Rivers is not going to beat anybody, all right? That doesn't matter. But he's got Jonathan Taylor. They've got a fantastic defense. This team could definitely do some upsetting. There will be no cakewalk for the Bills whatsoever this weekend. Not in the slightest. This was the team I've been saying I did not want to run into no matter what. This was the team I just don't want to deal with. Unfortunately, like I said, they got the Bills in the first round. That is not the most favorable thing for them. But nevertheless, I honestly, if there was a team to freaking screw my Bills over, it would be that. The next team that goes under the could do some upsetting category, the Los Angeles Rams. This is a little outdated with the logos, but anyway, the Los Angeles Rams, they could be another very good team, but Jared Goff is horrible. I have not said that enough. Jared Goff is the absolute garbage level quarterback that you do not want on your playoff team. This guy has been horrible. He's got everything he needs in the world to be a good quarterback. A great offensive line. He's got a usable run game. He's got fantastic receivers. He's got a couple decent tight ends. He's got one of the best defenses in the entire league, and this guy cannot put his shit together. This dude cannot put the square piece in the square hole. He cannot put he just can't do it. He can't do the basic shit. This guy is literally, talking about holding a team back. Jared Goff is holding the Rams back, and it is not even funny. This team could be Super Bowl contender level if this dude was playing at any level of decency, but he's just not. He's horrible. He's horrible. He's throwing picks left and right. He's giving opposing defenses touchdowns more than he's giving his own freaking receivers. This guy, horrible. Write him off. They could do some upsetting if their defense bails them out, but Jared Goff, you are the reason why they're as low as they are. So the third team that belongs in the could do some upsetting category, I want to say, is the Tennessee Titans. This team is another team that could be higher, but there's one aspect holding them back. There seems to be a trend here. There's an aspect of every single one of these teams in this category holding them back. For the Titans, it's their defense. They have, I think, the 30th ranked pass defense in the entire league. They just got sliced and diced by Deshaun Watson, the dude. I mean, I understand Deshaun Watson is from another planet, but I mean, he still put up 38 points against them in Week 17. I mean, the Titans are just... They're not the best on defense, but their offense, it speaks for itself. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, I mean, Jonnu Smith when he wants to. Derrick Henry obviously goes without saying. Ryan Tannehill has shown off his wheels. The offense is good enough to keep them in games. I just don't think their defense is good enough to win them games when it really comes down to it. I mean, like, they literally almost lost. Derrick Henry had 250 yards on the ground, and they still almost lost the game. Like, I think that's pretty unheard of. That's just how bad the Tennessee Titans defense is. If it was any sort of decent, I think they'd have a shot and even could be Super Bowl contenders, but their defense is definitely going to be the reason why they get kicked out this year. So the last team that I'm going to put in the could do some upsetting category is the Baltimore Ravens. This team is another team, just like the other three, that has one thing holding them back. And for the Ravens, it's the lack of ability to pass the ball. Lamar Jackson is the worst passer in the NFL, and I'm sorry, but it's true. This guy, I mean, granted, he's got some pretty piss-poor receivers, and when he has to throw, his options are sort of limited. But still, even when guys have separation, he just can't hit them. His first instinct, even in year 3, is to pull the ball down and run. Now that everybody knows that he can't do what he can do like he did last year. They are still a dangerous team. They will still do some upsetting. I'm more than convinced this team will do some upsetting. I think out of the 4 on the could do some upsetting list, I think this team has the best probability to. I mean, like, their defensive backs, I mean, their defense is scary. Like, those defensive backs are literally Mike Tyson with skinny arms. They come in and they will get the ball. They will hit you in the stomach. They will jaw you in the stomach. They literally hit you in the stomach where it hurts, but it's on the ball, and the ball will fall out of your grip. I've never seen a team force so many fumbles. It's like, especially from defensive backs. These dudes force fumbles like it's their job. For that reason, they're very scary. They could do some upsetting, but Lamar Jackson's throwing ability is holding them back from being any higher on this list. So these last 2 categories are where it's going to be a little more fun for me. This is where I get to do my most controversialing, my most pot stirring. This is where I get to have the most fun. And the first team, not so much. I think this is pretty fitting. It's I mean, the logo isn't updated, but it's the Washington football team. They're definitely lucky to be here. I think that's pretty safe to say. Just considering their division, considering their record, I mean, they're still a good team, but they're definitely just lucky to be here. Their record does not serve them a purpose to be in the playoffs. It's just their division is that embarrassingly horrible, and that's why they're here. So they're lucky to be here. I think that's pretty safe to say. And last team in this category, the lucky to be here category, would be the Chicago Bears. Another team that their record really isn't deserving of being here. Mitch Trubisky is not too hot. I love Mitch. I love Money Mitch. I love me some Money Mitch, but Matt Nagy is horrible. I think he's ruined Mitch Trubisky. Honestly, I do. Mitch Trubisky just doesn't have it. They don't use Allen Robinson, probably a top 10 receiver in the league. Arguably a top 10 receiver. They just don't use him. I don't understand it. But they're definitely lucky to be here, and the record shows it. These two teams are they're just not really it, man. Let's be honest here. All right, now on to our final category, and there are only 2 teams left. I think you see where I'm going with this. The first one is indeed the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I'm stirring the pot. All right, I'm just going to, quick disclaimer. I'm more doing this to piss off some Steelers fans more than anything. That's the number one reason I'm doing this. But to be real, they are not good. All right, they're just not. They have shown that they can somewhat come back to the level they were able to play at near the end of the season here. But nevertheless, they've also shown their true colors. Big Ben, that dude has some issues. He can't throw downfield. Richter, their offensive coordinator, I think is his name. Fitchner, I don't know what the hell, whatever his freaking name is. He can't call plays for his life. If Big Ben is calling the plays, maybe they have a chance. But, you know, they can't make that decision in the third quarter that Big Ben makes the play calls when they're already down by 3 touchdowns and hope to God they come back like they did against the Colts. That's not going to happen. They probably more realistically belong in the could do some upsetting category. That's where I would realistically put them. But, you know, for the sake of me not liking the Steelers, I'm going to put them down here. But, you know what? I agree. They suck. Garbage Steelers, you can stay down there. That only leaves one team left, and, you know, it's the Cleveland Browns. You know what? The Steelers I was somewhat kidding about. The Browns, I'm not. The Browns are trash, all right? They're trash. Their defense isn't good at all. They've been getting gashed all season. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are the only saving graces of this entire team. Baker Mayfield just was extremely hype about beating a bunch of backups that the Steelers played just this past week of Week 17. Granted, I get it. He was happy that they won and got in the playoffs, but, like, they barely freaking beat the backups on the Steelers, and they were just, like, ecstatic about it. And then they lost to the Jets. Like, they're horrible. This is also being sparked by people thinking Baker Mayfield is even in the same conversation as the Buffalo Bills. He's not. Or as Josh Allen, rather. He's not in the same conversation as Josh Allen. He's not at all. He has a run game that, you know, is really his saving grace. He's a game manager. That's all Baker Mayfield is. Josh Allen's a game changer. Baker Mayfield's a game manager. Baker Mayfield, that team is horrible. I know I'm probably triggering a lot of people with these last 2 ranks, but, you know, that's okay. I think the Browns would lose to the Washington football team and the Bears. I'm being real here. Like, they are, talk about lucky to be here. That's the Browns. For the sake of the meme, for the sake of me not liking either team, for the sake of them thinking they're better than the Bills or that Baker is on the same level of Josh, they're going to be down here for now, all right? Accept it. I don't care. I'm stirring the pot. Here's some soup. There you go. It's some beef. Let me know what you think of the list. I'm sure I made a couple of controversial decisions here, but, you know, I did it. I thought it's funny. I think it's pretty accurate, but whatever. I don't really care. It's my freaking video, my channel, my list. Get over it, all right? But anyway, I want to know what you think down below, like your honest opinion. Who would you move where? I actually am genuinely interested in your opinion. I always am, no matter what the video topic is. I want to know what you guys think down below. It always means a lot to interact with you guys. I love talking, having conversations down in the comments. It's honestly one of my favorite things to do after I post a video is always to engage with you guys. It's honestly fun. I don't know how else to put it. It's fun. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.